YouTube, testing the broadcast. Apparently I'm live, but we're not sure yet. Should I be entertaining? Should I dance a little bit? Because I'm not sure if I'm live. Am I live? But I'm entertaining. Hang on a second, because it says waiting for broadcast to be published. Working on live stream. Good day, everybody. I am Todd Standing. I'm the man who takes people out into the field and has them either live interact with or eyewitness a Sasquatch. I apologize for being tardy today. Let's make it up for my tardiness by being very, very controversial today. So I will answer the craziest, most controversial questions. Hello, crypto investigator. Thank you all for tuning in so much today. Every single show, you guys ask me the most amazing, fantastic questions. And here's something that I'll start talking about. It's been, hello, James. Hello, Central Michigan Bigfoot Research. Hello. There we go, everybody. So this has been really bothering me a lot. Like, it really, really bothers me because, hello, Amanda. So I am saying, and I've always said, well, I've been saying it for many, many, many years, that Sasquatch clearly eat meat because they follow the elk. And I've seen so much, hello, Tennessee. I've seen so much evidence to show that they heard the elk, they moved the elk around. There's even, my new documentary is coming out as soon as I finish it. Oops, there goes my Mikey thing. Anyways, so you hear me talk about it, elk, deer, meat, they have to do it. How else would they survive in the winter? However, you know what I have that's totally perplexing? Is I have found Sasquatch scat. Let's say, over a dozen scat samples that I've found. And and analyzed them, looked at them. We didn't get DNA from them because they were never fresh enough to put them in the gel. And I'll get Sasquatch DNA. That's not the point. The point is, I actually remember the first time I ever met Survivor Man in person. This is so funny. We're at the Fairmount Jasper Inn. If you know what a Fairmount hotel is, they're extremely high-end, very famous hotels. Top-notch hotel. The Fairmount Jasper. It's all these hoity-toity people, rich people. So I walk in, literally come right out of the bush. I just had interaction with Sasquatch, and I found some Sasquatch scat. So I walk in, and I see Les. He's waiting there. I'm a little tardy. I apologize. Roads were horrible. Anyway, all that being, so I walk in, and I've got my jacket on. I don't look terrible, but it's a Fairmount. The waiters are all dressed up with bow ties, and they have cummerbunds, and everybody's all prim and proper. I walk in, and I don't look terrible. I got my jeans on, and I got a jacket with big pockets in the front. So I sit down with Survivor Man, and it's wonderful. We finally get to meet. We start talking. I tell him, he goes, "So where were you?" I go, "Oh, I was just tracking some Sasquatch." And I watched Sasquatch tracks, and I found a spot where he actually defecated. And he goes, "What do you mean?" I mean, I found Sasquatch scat, really nice scat. And he goes, this is not even making this up. He goes, "Where is it?" And I go, "In my pocket." He goes, "Pull it out. Let me see it." We're in the middle of this fancy restaurant. People are eating like lobster and they're having crepe flamme. I pull out Sasquatch feces because Survivor Man insists. So it's this big, huge, piece of feces. It doesn't smell at all. There's no meat in that whatsoever. And I show it to the man, Survivor Man Les Stroud. What does he do? He puts it on his little bun plate and he breaks it open with a knife. It's scat. It's poop. It's on the table. I can't believe this is happening. And he looks at it and you think this is all funny and weird. And it is. It's pretty strange. And I'm a weird guy. This is what I do. He looks at that and he goes, "That's not a bear." And I go, "Absolutely not." And he goes, "And that's a huge, it's huge. It's big." He goes, "I've seen Alaskan brown bear. Their poops aren't that big. You got that here?" Yep. Our grizzly bears don't poop that big. And we were looking at it, and so, and we're actually like getting into it. Like there's juniper berries in it. There's pine needle leaves. There's leaves that we can't make out. So I'm taking pictures. We're analyzing this poop in the middle of this fancy restaurant, and the waiter comes up to us, and people knew Survivor Man at the time. Even a couple people recognized me. I was still pretty famous at the time, but Survivor Man is he's enormous. He's a huge deal. People recognize him anywhere. He is absolutely amazing. So anyways, we looked at this poop for a while, and at the end of it, he was like, "I think I believe you." I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, I think that's real Sasquatch scat." I go, "Well, of course it is. Of course it is. There's no doubt it is." But, he was really shocked that I just, showed up. And for me to get out to Jasper, I had to go through some mountain areas and I had to go past an Indian reserve. And so I thought, well, I'll just go a couple days early. I'll go do a little Sasquatch research expedition because the natives are talking about Sasquatch being around there like crazy. And I found some. I followed a trackway. I saw him go to. I saw his tracks go to a spot. I saw him poop. They do a certain thing when they poop. Even I'll tell you, in all the Sasquatch scat that I found, a bear will like poop and it'll drop down in a pile. The Sasquatch seem to squat down and kind of move forward as they poop, so it ends up being like a line in the scat samples that I found. And I found these scat samples in these places because in the Rocky Mountains, it's Rocky Mountain as like crazy. When I get to spots where there's sphagnum moss and dirt and when I can bury my scat, the Sasquatch potentially are doing that. So anyway, so that's pretty. Let's talk about some poop today, everybody. So that's how we'll start this conversation. I know you guys will get more. Let's get some crazy questions here. DJ Nazar, hi Todd. It's my birthday today. Happy birthday! I'm so glad that I love to celebrate birthdays. I think I'm a big birthday guy because it's DJ. It's a magnificent day. We celebrate you today. So sincerely, happy birthday, and thanks for tuning into my show. I really appreciate it, guys. It's awesome that you're here. What do you think about the show Expedition Bigfoot? Jay, I don't know. I mean, there might be litigation involved because they kind of stole some of my ideas. I was working with Travel and Escape. I was working with a major production company that was going to do a show about Bigfoot, and that's my idea. I do expeditions. It's 4 people. I said 4 people. They're doing all this stuff just like me. But I wish them the best. I hope it's not a BS show. And, there's no hard feelings. And I don't really want to sue anybody either. I don't really want to do that. It's really up to the producer that I was working with. But I just don't want to do that stuff. So I wish them the best. I hope they have a good show. You tell me. I don't watch TV hardly ever unless I'm on it. Is that weird? Does that sound arrogant? But when I do radio shows, I don't even like watching the news much. And what sucks is when I'm on a news network show, they put me as the very last freaking story every time. So I have to sit there and wait for the whole freaking show to go on before they play me. And they always talk about it. They do their little, and next, Sasquatch. And next, a man says that he's suing the government. And next, a man says he has definitive proof. All the little stories that I've done. And it's never next. It's always at the end of the damn program. So I sit there trying to record it because, I need to document it. And most of the time when a professional media organization, CTV News, CNN, BBC, whatever, NBC, when they do a story, it's really good. They do a really good job. Because when you sit down and you talk to me, you realize, this guy. Like I sit down with my B-roll and I show them me in the mountains, me driving in an Argo, me backcountry, and I show them my Sasquatch footage. And I always get that's impressive footage. Yeah, it is. And what you're saying sounds very legit because it is. It's real. Sasquatch are real. They exist. I'll take you out and show you one. All you need is a little intestinal fortitude and we can go see a Sasquatch. But they don't do it. They don't come out. I don't know. So anyways, love your talks on Bigfoot Live in North Carolina. And I believe without a doubt that they're in the hills of Georgia. Oh, that's so cool, Karen. And yeah, I have a friend in Georgia. I have a couple people in Georgia that are doing some Sasquatch stuff. I'd love to connect you guys. I'd love to connect people and get some cooperation. And in your research, watch my Survivor Man episodes, watch my movie. If you have questions, I love to mentor people. I started mentoring. I just talked to a guy today who, there's a place called Kamloops that's, in British Columbia. And he lives north of Kamloops in a place called Adams Lake. And he's been seeing these weird things. And the elk been doing this weird stuff and all this weird stuff's going on. So anyways, the kicker with me was he's got elk there. He's got salmon runs. And I know that the Sasquatch are about 100 miles south of where he lives. And his habitat is much more likely to have Sasquatch around there. So anyways, he's going to come on an expedition with me. What I'd love to do too is, Georgia lady, if you really want to get good at Sasquatch research, you want to learn a lot about it, the honest truth is you need to come on an expedition with me. You need to bleed a little, you need to suffer, you need to feel some leg burning. You need to know what it's really about, what it's really like, what's really necessary. And the expeditions are amazing, life-changing, both for you and me. I want people to come on my expeditions because I want to learn about new people Everybody's different. Everybody has different perspectives. There's one gentleman that's going to have his little girl. He's from Texas. He's doing a whole expedition with him and his daughter. And I was like, no, I don't want to bring a little girl out. I don't have children on the. I fought it. And then she talked to me on the phone and she convinced me. She's 11 years old and she's coming on an expedition with me this year. You know, sweet potato, he calls her. And she's just a sweetheart. She's been following me since she was 5 years old, and just tough as nails, and she knows her tracks. And so she broke me down, and now I'm taking a freaking little 11-year-old wonderful little girl out on an expedition. And my protective instinct is high, so high. When you come out and you trust me to take care of you on an expedition, I'm so flattered. I will risk my life. I will die before I ever let anybody on my expeditions get harmed, ever. And I'll prove that, and I have proven that. And I will continue to prove that. Don't take my word for it. Watch it. See what I do. See how I react. Bear comes, man. I'm in front of that. Nobody's getting harmed. So I don't know how my protective instinct could be any higher, but it will be. So I'm going to get the dad to be armed. Normally I don't have my expeditioners armed. I'm way more than enough. I give him bear spray, bear bangers, you carry a knife. But since there's a little girl coming out there, yeah, he's going to get armed, and we'll both be thoroughly armed, and we're going to adhere to all the rules and everything. And even when a Sasquatch comes around, that's going to scare me. Wouldn't that scare you? There's a little girl out here. What if they do something? I can't stop them. That's maybe what scares me, but she wants it and she's going to do it. And I guess I trust the Sasquatch. I guess I can be conservative too. There are people that are way too conservative, and it's freaking annoying. But, and I'm guilty of that stuff too, So I'm being real. What are your thoughts? You think an 11-year-old girl? Really? My little boy is turning 11 in 2020 this year. And he doesn't do expeditions with me. He doesn't want to. But I take him mountain biking. I take him backcountry. Well, not backcountry. I take him mountain biking. We see bears almost every time we go mountain biking in the bush. And, he knows how to track wolves, and he knows about animal. He's brilliant. He's my hero. I just love the kid to death. But he doesn't, he's been around a Sasquatch once when I wasn't there. And, yeah, he's just not ready yet. He's a real gentle, wonderful little boy. I'm a bit of a hard ass, suck it up buttercup kind of guy. And my wife is very gentle. So, anyways, he's a lot gentle. He's got toughness to him, but I don't know. Anyways, so I'd love to hear you guys' perspectives on that. Hello from Minnesota, man. We got people from all over. So, cryptozoologist investigator, if you found an orphan baby Sasquatch, would you adopt it? Whoo, yeah, but no. I'd be so scared. I can't imagine that happening. Not even close. I mean, it would be an absolute miracle, and hell yes, but I don't know. And I wouldn't really want that, because what am I going to do with a Sasquatch? I can't train it. I can't teach it. I can't, I strongly believe that children need their parents. This is something I'm learning about, with stuff I'm going through right now, is little girls need their daddies and need their mommies, and children need their parents. And if you have a jerk for a parent, they need that jerk in their life as much as possible. They need to know where they're from. So it'd be the same thing with the Sasquatch. They need their parents so badly. Actually, you know what? The more I think about it, absolutely not. I would try to help it get back into a troop. It wouldn't be my place. I wouldn't want to. You know what really scares me is in the DNA, everybody. This is a fact, and I'm uncomfortable talking about this, but this is the truth. Male Sasquatch have bred with female Sasquatch. The DNA's out, guys. It's happened. So male Sasquatch have taken a human female and bred with her, and they successfully had a viable offspring that bred back into the Sasquatch population. All the strangeness of that, and get past all the paradigms you have about that, I think that's terrible. We've weakened the Sasquatch species. I want them to be pure. I want them to be Sasquatch, I don't want them to be part human. I don't want any human DNA in there at all. So that's, it's interesting to know that we can viably do that. Donkeys and horses are different species, because if they breed, they have mules, and mules are not a species. They can't have viable offspring. So that's how close we are to Sasquatch. And this is one of those things I hate talking about it. I really do. I don't like talking about it, because it's really gross to think that Sasquatch have bred with human females and they had babies and the baby was fine and all that stuff. But Anyways, yeah, I don't want to, the Sasquatch to me, they're such a pure miracle. I don't want them civilized. I don't want them, I want them to be Sasquatch. Isn't that precious? What they are and what they represent, isn't it an absolute miracle? Let's preserve that. Put them in a zoo? What the hell? No way, you know? So I would do everything I could to help. What a good question. That's got some depth to it. Eh? That's one of those punch in the face. That's why I love doing these shows with you guys. That is an awesome question. And yeah, no, don't. I would help it. I would take care of it, but adopt it, take it home. I couldn't. I'm not. I couldn't. What? They don't need to sleep in beds. They don't know. You know how damaging would that to be? That would be like an absolute last hell of resort. So here's a scary question. So there's so much similarities between Sasquatch and gorillas. Did you know gorillas commit infanticide? When a new gorilla takes over beats up an old gorilla and takes over his troop, he'll kill all the babies. Kill them. This is fact. Lions do that when they take over a new pride. They kill all the babies. So would Sasquatch do that? Hmm? And you know what? In Montana, I was around. I'm very, very convinced. I was around when a new Sasquatch male took over and beat up an old Sasquatch, and I believe like it was horrible. There was a female running around screaming, and there was all sorts of. It was like he put his new group in its place, and maybe he killed the babies. Right? It's nature. I don't know. Maybe in that case, when I can clearly see there's a big male going around beating the hell out of the females, smashing up everybody, causing trouble. If a little Sasquatch ran out to me and I knew that was happening, that he was going to be killed, it would be infanticide. Yes. And would I take him to a new troop? Probably not. Would I go public with that? I don't think so. I don't know. I think I would hide it. I don't know. That's a good question because there you go. If they commit infanticide, which happens in nature, I'm extremely convinced, 99% convinced that they have male, these are male dominated groups just like gorillas. I'm 99% convinced that males fight other males for dominance. That's why my Jake is gone. Jake is gone because he needs to go find his own troop. So if they do that, every male dominated group like lions, and let's talk about lions and gorillas, when a new male takes over, they kill the offspring. They don't want to have, I mean, they just fought for dominance. They don't want to have, they're not going to raise that other male that they just beat up. They're not going to raise its baby, right? So that's very probably to happen. They're much more civil, not civilized, but maybe they're more intelligent than gorillas and lions, I would say. So I would give it a good 50-50 they commit infanticide or not. But if that's the case and a baby ran away, a young one ran away, then I would take it. What a complicated question. That's a freaking hell of a good question. I like that one. Hello, Ranko. Hello, Hugh from upstate New York. Galaxy Starjays. Hello, have you ever gotten injured in the forest, remote areas? How do you make it to safety? You got to suck it up, man. I was just talking about that. Yeah, I mean, I've hurt my knee really badly, hurt my hip. You know, you just got to make it home. If you don't make it home, I remember, this is Galaxy Starjay asking me this. I remember I went out on an expedition once. This is a true story. So went out on an expedition, and when you're moving away from society, you have this, I can do what I can. So I'm going further than I should have. And it was the Sasquatch. I'm getting success. They're coming around. It's very exciting. So I keep going further and further into the bush, further than I knew I should have. But I'm like, I'll make it. It's okay. So, because I only have so much food, I have to be back at my pickup point. My wife and my son are going to be there. And this is a long time ago. My son was probably, so this is probably like 7-8 years ago. So what happened was, so I got out, I went too far, and it snowed like 3 feet. It snowed and the temperature dropped like 10 degrees. So I'm too far out. I don't have enough. I ran out of food. I run out of food. It snows. I can drink water out of the creeks and stuff, but I can't get enough food in me to generate heat. And when you got to walk through 3 feet of snow, you're in deep trouble. I don't care about, I'm 220 pounds at my lightest, you know, when I have like ripped abs. So at that time too, I was probably 240. I was pretty muscular. So to walk in deep snow like that, like snowshoes don't help much. I don't know. So basically, long story short, I'm walking back. I'm literally 3 miles away from the pickup point. I actually saw my wife drive up in the Durango truck of mine, and I saw her park there. I saw her with the vehicle running, and I laid down to die. I was literally looking at my leg going, move, and my leg was like, no. Move. It wouldn't move. No more food, no more heat, freezing cold, hypothermic. I laid down and I thought, it sucks that my little boy's not going to have a dad. It sucks that my wife lost her husband, but I gave it my best shot and I laid down to die. So I just laid in the snow and I was like, toast, I'm done. So something happened to me. Maybe this was very spiritual. Maybe it was something to do with the Sasquatch. I've been told this. But anyways, when I laid down there, I had like, I never heard this before, but I had like something that was like telling me, get up, now, get up. And for some reason, I felt like a warmth come over my body because I was just at peace. And when I stopped struggling, when I knew I just couldn't make it, I knew that I'd made a mistake and I was going to die. I felt some kind of peace come over me and I felt warmth. And I was even like, I remember I was a little upset. I cried a little bit because I was like, oh man, my little boy, he needs a dad. Like I can't do this, but I couldn't move anymore. Literally, if there was anybody who could have kept going, it would have been me. My legs would not move. I fell down, done. But I laid there in the snow for about an hour. Some kind of warmth came over me that I've never experienced before or since. And I had that voice just kept telling me, get up, get up. And I did. I got up and it was mostly downhill. But it never feels like downhill because of the snow being so deep. But anyways, long story short, the lights from that truck just kept pushing me and I just kept fighting. It took me about 2 hours to get that last, maybe even 3 hours to get that last couple miles. But I got back. Man, when I got to that truck, we just put my jacket over the heater and just started, I was blue. My lips were blue. I got a little piece of frostbite on my nose. It's never really healed. And yeah, it was a real miracle. So anyways, that's back to the, have I ever gotten injured? That's probably it's one of the times, there's been many times, but I was really, really close to death. And yeah, so like for God's sake, people, get a Garmin, get a tracking device. For God's sake, don't do stupid crap like that. That was a long time ago. Well, anyways, I try not to do that stuff. You have a tendency to get really arrogant, and boy, that's a stupid thing to do. Really respect nature. Nature can kick your ass. Weather can kick your ass. You can be around bears 1,000 times. You make that one mistake, you push things too much, and you will die. This is not playtime. Take it seriously if you're doing these expeditions. They're so serious. Please come home safe. I don't want to have another... People go missing so much, and most of the time people go missing, they just get lost or killed by a bear or mountain lion. This is be real. It's mostly not Sasquatch. I'm sure you guys saw if you haven't seen my video, I did a video about do Sasquatch kill, and I talked about it in that video at great length. So, do you think Bigfoot is interdimensional and cannot be caught? This is from the Soul Keeper. Absolutely not. No, not perfectly real beings. They're just so good that they confuse people. So, Matt, I hear people saying Bigfoot will get down on all limbs, close to the ground, and move like a spider. Have you seen this? Yes, I've seen it in the trackway. I've seen it in real life. But there's usually a good reason for it. As an example, one of the coolest trackways I ever found was in Montana. Cool in that it was on hard ground. Like the dirt it had rained and then dried up. So the ground was really hard, smooth. So the impressions in the ground, they were smash marks. So I'm following this Sasquatch is moving. There's smash marks in the ground. I'm really excited to be following this trail. It's fresh, really fresh. And then suddenly there's a tree, and it's a big heavy tree right on this trail. And I look at the trackway and I see these fist marks in the ground. And I realize he got down on all fours and he was smashed. When you're moving like that, and when you weigh, this is probably a 700-pound Sasquatch. I believe it was a 15.5-inch male track. Powerful dude, right? Like powerful to be making these marks. I'm walking on this earth and I'm not making a scratch with my hiking boots. And I see smash marks from his foot. And then he got down on all fours and he did that for 20 meters. And the foot marks were foot marks based on my deduction. The fist marks, I could see fist. I could see knuckles in the ground. Big fist marks. Bang, 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 bang. And I could see actually less of a foot mark, much less footprints, and much more fists, because their upper head, if you go down like that and you have a big body, he would be really relying on that. And he was not using his hands. He was using fists. I have no doubt about that. It was fist size. So, but that's an instance where they were running and moving at high velocity. And even I could see just the way he got up again, and the way he was probably moving, I'd say approximately 25 to 30 miles an hour. And yeah, he just got down on all fours, went under that tree. You can't hit a tree. You're going to hit a tree like that, it's going to mess you up, you know? And they move through the wilderness. They're fluid. It's amazing how they move. So yeah, they'll get down on all fours. They're very, yeah. And I wouldn't say spider-like though. It doesn't seem spider-like to me. It's just, it's not even gorilla-like, because gorillas are like knuckle walkers. And it was, when you get down like that, and I could see how down he must have been, you know, it's, yeah, it was so impressive. And again, I've seen it in real life, where I remember watching a Sasquatch running through the bush, and the stuff I was seeing with my eyes just blew me. It was so quiet. He's moving and he's like running, and I can't hear anything. And I see him like, one of the coolest things I ever saw a Sasquatch do was, there was a rock. So he's running along, and there's a rock, and then there's like a heavy tree above it. There's a little space in between. He literally, I remember him going boom, boom, boom. And then he jumped, and he literally like reached down and to touch it. Looked like he was touching his toes to flatten himself out. And he squeezed himself through this space between the rock and the tree branch, and then just landed on the ground. And then, and that I heard a boom, 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 boom. I started to hear it at that point. And I'm looking at this going, oh my God. And the movement, side to side, up, down. It's just like, man, Sasquatch are so amazing, so impressive. If you watch, I've seen wild horses run through the bush, and they're just like a stampede. They break their legs. They're just a mess. Elk move very fluidly because they're a designed species. But, and mountain lions move beautifully through forest. Moose are just moose. They just smash through. They're like big tanks. They bust everything. Big bears seem to be like that too. They just bust everything. But the mountain lions and the Sasquatch, I would actually say they move. It might sound weird, but the fluidity at which they move reminded me of a mountain lion. The way a mountain lion will stretch itself out and get through that same spot, and they'll time it because they see it coming. So you see like a quick double step, then a push, and then that, you know. And to think the flexibility, literally this Sasquatch flattened right out, like he reached down like he was touching his toes, squatted down, and then just as soon as it passed, boom, he was right back up. Like his body just expanded and he was gone. So that makes me think of the dexterity and flexibility and the movement. Like when we discover this species, guys, your minds are going to be blown by how, as amazing as you think they are, they're more than that. They're more amazing. They're more spectacular. That's why when people start tracking them and people start getting passionate about it, like in Harry and the Hendersons, they talk about those guys. And there's real life, you know, Renee DeHinden, love him or hate him. John Bitternagel, love him or love him. What a wonderful man. John Green, you know, all these different, Grover Krantz. You get obsessed because the more you start seeing how incredible they are, the more you want this discovery. The more you learn about, they're that amazing, they're that good. And the answer is always, yeah, better, better. So you have a tendency to get really passionate about it because you realize what's necessary for them to survive, to evade us, to be what they are and do the things they do. I mean, if you're lucky enough to ever bump into a Sasquatch trackway and you see how amazing they move, if you understand the tracks and how they work, oh my God, just amazing. So anyways, yes, but not like a spider. I would not call it like a spider. And I've seen them, like they'll roll and twist, like they're just so fluid and amazing. Just you look at my eyes, it's just like wow, that's how they move. Wow. Well, they're born and raised. I bet you they're trained by their parents. No, don't move like that. Roll this way and shift your body that way when you move through. And the way they're very touchy with things, putting their hands on the rocks and touching the trees, and they move like they're one with nature. You don't verse nature. Don't do it. If you're out here and you're versing Sasquatch and you're versing nature, hit end, tell me to go screw myself, because I am not on your wavelength. I don't verse nature. Bear Grylls is man versus nature. Thank you for saying that, Bear Grylls. That tells us that you're just not real and you're fake and it's crap. You don't verse nature. We are nature. Love nature. Embrace nature. You don't verse your family. You don't verse that which you are. You don't verse Sasquatch. Don't verse nature. Live in it. Love it. Appreciate it. Love the trees. Love the plants. Love the animals. And if you don't feel that way, then don't do this stuff. So Bigfoot poop must be huge and gross. Not gross at all. I, you know what? Like mountain lion scat, I see it and I'm like, I touched mountain lion scat once and I couldn't get the stink off me. Like I'd wash it and I put sap on it and I put spruce things and it's like for 3 days my finger just stunk like like mountain lion scat. Now I know now what it looks like. I'll never touch that again because it's stinky. Because mountain lions eat meat like crazy. Wolf scat can be pretty stinky. Bear scat usually not so much. It's usually pretty decent, but I've never seen Sasquatch scat that was just like I honestly I just held it in my hand. It wasn't gross at all. It was almost like just a whole bunch of plants and vegetation was all neatly put together and squished into this one thing. And yeah, it wasn't. There was nothing. I hate to say it, guys. It's like elk scat to me, deer scat. It's just very clean, super super clean. So yeah, it's not. I would never use that word. It's huge, but and it's mesmerizing because when you love a species and you're so impressed with the species, even Survivor Man, I can't tell you, Survivor Man tore that thing apart. Like he was just like all over it. The more he couldn't explain it, the more he wanted to look at it. Like bears don't eat that. Nothing eats this. I recognize this plant. This is not supposed to be in scat. And he's looking at it. He's like, "Did you just concoct this? This can't be concoct. You can't concoct something like this." And then I showed him pictures of the trackway. He's like, "My God, you just came out here to see me on a whim. Went and had a Sasquatch, found Sasquatch scat." And I went, "Yeah." He goes, "I can't wait to work with you, boy, because there's something going on here." And we had a wonderful and still do have a wonderful relationship. Corn this scat? No, there's no corn at all. So while YouTube won't let me watch this on my PC, says you're live on the PC, but no place to click. Sorry about that. I don't know. There's lots of weird stuff that goes on with me, guys. There's really weird stuff. I don't want to talk about it. So it doesn't make it. SoCal Force Ninja! SRG, good evening, my friend. Hey, Cappy, if you sent them today or not. So Amanda's asking Cappy if you sent something to her. Hog hair in the scat I found. Cool. And see, Clay Cactus Tex Smith, I'm assuming you're from Texas, right? There's no hogs where I'm from. But there's no excuse not to find deer hair or elk hair or feathers, right? I find that if I find fox scat, lynx, well, I don't touch lynx scat. That's cat scat is nasty. Oh, it's horrible smell. But I can look at coyote, wolf, and you see all the feathers, the fur. They just eat everything, right? So that's how you can tell the difference between dog scat. If you're just learning, dog scat it's so civilized and like a coyote or a fox, they have mouse hair in it or feathers or rabbit hair. They just eat all that stuff, right? It's just in there like crazy. So yeah, Clay. So you found hog hair in scat. Yeah. So and when you're in Texas, I know there was black bears down there. I hope there still are. But your black bears are small, and their scat is going to be, small. And it's bears will kind of arch their back and poop. I hope this is not uncomfortable. This is just what you do when you're a wilderness guy, right? So, yeah, and then Sasquatch eating hogs. It's just weird because I have no evidence other than the fact that they move the elk, they herd the elk, they're around the elk, they follow the elk, and then there's other evidence that I can talk about too that's a little more detailed. But it's very clear to me that they must be eating elk, but I've never seen it in the scat ever. There's probably a good reason for that, and I'm going to figure that out soon enough. Uh, what I've already kind of been deducing is when they're hunting elk and eating elk, they're around grassy areas and they can bury their scat. The scat that I've found is in tremendous Rocky Mountain country, and when you're up in the Rocky Mountains in these areas, what are you eating? Probably berries, probably plants. You're probably far away from the elk. So that's when I find the scat is the crazy rocky areas, and that's when they're not going to be eating the elk because elk won't live in elk need grass. Deer need grass. There's much less deer and elk in these regions where I've been finding this scat. In fact, they're almost not there at all. It's mostly the bighorn sheep and the mountain goats. And I know mountain goat is terrible tasting. But you get berries at altitude, right? So Luke Cullup. Oh, sorry, first Tony here. I love you, Todd. Thanks, dude. I appreciate the love. The way you, like many of us, know that Sasquatches are very real. They are. I'm not a Sasquatch believer. I know they exist. They are real. Luke Kelp, Todd, would it be smart to organize a group of researchers who only go into burned out areas of the wilderness looking for Sasquatch bodies? At the worst, would actually fit a dead one, yeah. It's just the problem is the Sasquatch are such an apex species. I don't know how well they're going to get caught in forest fires. It'd be so hard to do. And then, yeah, no, I wouldn't do that. I don't know, and I don't like forest fires. They hurt my heart. So, but I don't know if that's something you're interested in. That's cool. But I need to focus on the living. And if I'm focused on forest fires and stuff, now I need a forest fire to happen. And that's not real research to me. Real research is studying a thriving, happy group. And that's something that's repeatable anywhere. There are Sasquatch troops all over North America, all through the United States and Canada, hundreds of them at least. And I want to learn how to study living, thriving groups, just the way they do with gorillas, and work that way. So I'm just today speaking with a lady who had a Sasquatch sighting for Mount St. Helens during the eruption. So she sent me a big text, but I actually want to interview her about that. So, and I want to look in my old notes about that, a man who had an incident to do with that. So, but you know, Luke, that's an interesting perspective, but I'm going to definitely say no to that for the reasons I just mentioned. So if you think I'm wrong, good. If you want to do it, good, do it. If you have a better idea than me, please let it rip, my friend. So I'm not the end all be all. I'm just a humble, simple guy. I've got over 1,000 days backcountry experience. I do study Sasquatch, but I have a lot to learn. I'm a student, right? So I make mistakes all the time. Don't take my word as the word of, oh, don't be like that. I'm not that guy. So Frank, hello. Kyla Cox, hello, Kyla. She's a very devoted SoCal Forest Ninjas. My wife found a huge scat pile in Idaho. Well, and what do you think of what I'm saying? Was it long, or was it piled? And was it big? Was there meat in it? I'd love to hear this stuff because I need to learn more about that stuff. So show us the poop. Poop's gone. So I don't want to talk about the poop stuff, but yeah, I don't have the poop. It's been about 5 years since I've found new Sasquatch scat, and yeah, it's it is what it is. It's just the way it is for now. So I'll keep looking though. Have you ever been to Harrison Hot Springs? Well, yeah. I was at the Sasquatch Inn. I just visited it gently, and I've met with people around there. You know what? There's not too many places I'll say this, but there's Sasquatch feeling in the air. Like there's Sasquatch energy in those trees. I don't say that very often, but Harrison Hot Springs, it's a hot spot, but I feel that there's that energy. It's kind of like it's a harsh energy. I don't want to say negative, but it's a hard energy. And I feel like I don't really have a connection with those particular troops of Sasquatch. And I've heard bad things about them that have scared me. I saw pictures of a horse that was killed by a Sasquatch, and it really scared me because there were Sasquatch tracks around. The horse, its head was like busted badly, like smashed and twisted. And I was quite convinced the Sasquatch did it, and it hurt my heart. And it's because the Sasquatch was just angry. The man was a nice man. He was really scared. He moved away, and I just felt like that was like negative energy, and I couldn't get over that. So what did I do with the poop? I put the poop in a deep freeze, and then I had a jerk off relative get mad at me and threw it all away. So yeah, so I had lots of scat. I showed it to Jeff Meldrum though. He got to see it before it got tossed in the garbage. I don't know. We have family members. A dumbass family member took it and tossed it away. And then, yeah. Anyways, I'll get more. Don't worry about it. I don't want to make it some stupid conspiracy crap. It's just a stupid thing that happened. And I had it for years and years. It was degrading. It was getting all white and degraded. So, anyways, I'll get more. I'll have some Sasquatch scat for you guys one of these years. Be patient. This is a long haul. We've got a long ways to go. Even when the discovery is made, it's not done. It's not, oh, it's done. And no, it's not done. It's a long ways to go. And they learn new things about gorillas every year. Every year, new things about gorillas and chimpanzees. It's wonderful, and I'm so up for that. So this is a long way, guys. I demand poop. I'm sorry. Maybe I shouldn't have brought it up. Here we go with the poop. Yes, the poop. Drop logs. Okay. Oh. No, serious. Okay, sorry. There was a question there that looked interesting. Something. Anyways, cactus clay. On top. Do they eat goats? I don't like goats. I've never seen any evidence of that. No, and I'm talking bighorn sheep. Okay, so bighorn sheep are the sheep We call them sheep out here. And then there's the mountain goats. I would think they would eat mountain goats. I had mountain goat. It was kind of tasty, but I don't know. I can't substantiate that at all. So mountain goats are quite rare, and yeah, and bighorn sheep they're weird, kind of dumb, weird, beautiful creatures, but kind of. So I don't do much with the bighorn other than just really think they're cool. So don't give your email address out in here. We can connect with others if you wish, but please write to us at bigfootencounter@gmail.com. And Amanda is giving very good advice. I highly suggest you listen to Amanda. Rob Banks, I would love to experience what you do every day. I don't do it every day, Rob. It's not like that. I need to get home. I need to, even this year when I was out a lot, I'm out kind of like 1 week on, 1 week off. In fact, it would probably be more like, on average, I would do 10 days in, 7 days out. Expeditions are hard. I lose a lot of weight. I can't keep fat on me. And yeah, so they're just really hard. It's not easy. It's not a cakewalk. My legs get tired and burned out. And when I do expeditions, I'm responsible for people. So I get little injuries and stuff, and I get hurt. My shoulder got hurt when an expeditioner kind of slipped off a log that he was walking across, and I had to hang on to him and kind of popped my shoulder really badly this year. And then, I got to heal from that. And I'm young and fit and tough as nails, but I almost feel like the winters are good because I get to go rehab from the damage, right? Like my knees were really hurting this year, and so, but it's definitely not an everyday thing. So, SoCal Forest Ninjas, yes, yes, yes. SoCal Forest Ninjas. What's your take on the wild man in the forest? They have almost the same figures. Well, so this is from some guy. It's Is Tigger Mobek. What's my take on the wild man in the wild man is the Sasquatch. So that's what Sasquatch means. It means, well, they used to translate it as wild man of the wilderness, but it's wild master is the proper translation. But wild man is a Bigfoot. So there's nothing but when anybody refers to the wild man, they're definitively talking about Sasquatch. I'm extremely convinced of that. I know there's the little people of the forest. I'm not, that is what it is. I don't do little people. And of course there's the dog man. I don't know anything about them. Never seen any tracks. I've never seen tracks that impressed me about dog men. I have people showing me tracks and stuff now. It just looks like a wolf track to me. So a wolf, that moved. They get this thing where a wolf will turn and step, and it looks like they were showing those tracks. Look how the tracks are angled. That the wolf is doing a turn step. So remember, I am a tracker. I see this stuff all the time. So the evidence I've seen about dog men has convinced me that it's even they seem to be trying to pull the wool over my eyes and treat me like I don't know what I'm talking about. And I'm quite. I've never seen any evidence that showed me that dog men are real. Not to say that it's not true. Not to say that they don't exist. But the people that are showing me evidence, it's very weak evidence, and people are trying to fool me and pull the wool over my eyes. Don't do that. I am a real tracker. Ask the people I go, look, watch the episodes of Survivor, man. You'll hear him say many times, Todd is my guide out here. I trust Todd, and Todd this, and don't do this without a high degree of survival. You can see it in his eyes. He's following me around. He knows I know what I'm talking about. I recognize the expertise and excellence of Survivor Man. You can see it. He's brilliant and amazing and so freaking brave. I'm honored to be the same species as Les Stroud. He's so tough. I admire him so much. Man, I was taking that guy out when he was 50 years old, and he's just as tough. There are 20-year-olds that were carrying backpacks around, and they just were matching Survivor Man, Les Stroud. So, dude is tough as nails. Doesn't get any tougher than that. I'm honored to be in the same species category. Bigfoot, Vancouver Island. Too funny. Sonny Vader. Is the elk hunter mentioned above? Todd, you know Sonny Vader? He's hunting guide in Nordegg. He lost a hunting buddy to a sass. Are you kidding me? Sonny Vader is an elk hunting guide mentioned above. Nordegg, there is Sasquatch in Nordegg, and he lost a buddy to Sasquatch. I would love to hear about that. You need to go to bigfootencounter@gmail.com. You're talking about my own backyard. I know the natives out there. I know the natives call the Sasquatch Winchestatunga. I've spent hundreds of days out in the backcountry out there. I know there's at least 2 troops of Sasquatch out there. If you have information about that, I'm very interested. I know a lot of people out there. It's my third home, I would say. So yeah, I would love to hear about that. So, wow, lost a hunting buddy to Sasquatch. That's crazy. I, that sounds very unlikely to me. I don't know why. If you're out there hunting, yeah, you'd have to do something. I mean, you know what? Hunters are usually very respectful. Hunters know what they're supposed to be shooting, and so and a good hunter with a good hunting guide. I don't think you can really be a hunter unless you love nature and you love the animals. So I find that not impossible, but I find that hard to believe because I've met so many hunters and they're just good, and a Sasquatch, all the ingredients that would need to happen, in all my experience, all the ingredients that would need to happen for a guide to go out with a man hunting and then a hunting buddy getting taken by a Sasquatch, that just sounds hard. It sounds really hard to believe and imagine. So, but interesting. And thank you so much for sharing that. Um, Thank you so much for sharing that. And if I'm wrong and that did happen, I'm extremely interested. You know what? That'll be something I can get to the bottom to because I know people. I know about the Indians out there. I know about the reserves. I know about the land. I know lots of people. So yeah, I could actually. I would like to get to the bottom of that because that's a goddamn bold statement. A hunter's hunting guide with that's a bold freaking statement. It's a big deal, and some if that happened, some major crap happened for that to go down. Some major issues were happening, and that's a really, really big deal. So I'd be very interested in that. And since it's my own backyard, I'm even more so. Because Sasquatch do take people, Sasquatch do kill people. And is there going to be a crazy madman Sasquatch? Yes. Is there going to be like a serial killer Sasquatch? Well, sure, probably. So, anyways, I saw a big boy riding my Harley here in Florida. Really, Donna? A big boy? You mean you saw a Sasquatch while riding your Harley? Wow, that's congratulations. That's awesome. And it would they call them skunk ape down there. I try to respect indigenous peoples, and the indigenous people, which are the Americans from the southern United States, call them skunk ape. So I don't mind calling them that. So Cactus Clay says he'll email me. Thank you. We can talk. I'm the real deal. Thanks, and that's awesome. So I don't live in Texas anymore, but I go back to my area. Well, that's cool. Good, and congratulations, and really keep that up. There were Sasquatch in Texas for sure, up until 15 years ago. I say that because I was around there 15 years ago, and they were there 15 years ago. So I don't know how, and it's amazing they can survive there. And I think that they're in great peril in Texas, trying to survive there. I think it would be different. But anyways, Sasquatch Fishing says Bigfoot Vancouver. Sunny Vader video is crazy. Can you provide the link? Yeah. So you know what? Amanda will get to the bottom of that. I bet you she's already looking into it and she's already digging. If Amanda doesn't, Phil will or Daniel will. Somebody in my little cooperation will dig into that. So I'm very interested in that. Love your passion. This is from Roy Clark and Knowledge Todd. We're all in this together. Yeah, we are. That's why, take my evidence, take my videos, take my stuff, use it. It's our evidence, guys. So if it helps with the discovery, I'm so up for it. Rodney Harris. Okay, Todd, you may not be that guy, but I believe you more than I believe the rest of them. That's good. I'm the what's the term from that? I'm the least. Anyways, that's all good. I'll take any compliment I can get. The Mount St. Helens volcano stories is on YouTube. It's very believable. That's so cool. I'd like to look into that more. So, thanks for your funny comment, Bobby. Splash Bordeaux. Hi, Todd. Have you tried getting environmental DNA from water sources in your research area to test for unknown species? No. Have I tried getting environmental DNA? Whew, there's so much water out there. Wouldn't that be like a needle in a haystack? And DNA tests are expensive, dude. There's no need. You know what? Splash Bordeaux, there's no need for that. I can get hair, I can get scat samples. The problem is having somebody doing a full genome on them. That's what people are refusing to do. And you can actually, like, I suppose if you had enough money and you forced somebody to do it. But when I was looking, and even, remember I had Jeff Meldrum and John Benernagel, PhDs, and I had DNA and they couldn't get it tested. Nobody would touch us. So I was talking to Todd Dissitel, a geneticist, and that guy ended up chicking out. I was communicating with him, and I said, dude, I'd like a DNA test done. I got some DNA. And he just kept making excuses. And then he showed his true colors. He chickened out. I had references from Survivor Man and Jeff Meldrum and John Benedict. These are great men saying, yeah, test his DNA, please. And he refused. So, and it pisses me off. I'm not going to lie. It really ticked me off. What are you afraid of? Test my DNA. And they're testing DNA from crap and people that are very mediocre. And they come back, well, that was deer hair. Well, shut up. Why didn't you test my hair? You know? After all I've been through, after all my bold statements, after all the stuff that I say, didn't test my DNA? Like, come on. And then I had paleo DNA test it. And, it came back very significant results. And, it's Sasquatch are the results it came back as. But no geneticist would jump on board because they have their reputation. You know what? Your reputation isn't worth nothing. If you're such a freaking coward, you won't test DNA from a man like me who's challenging you with science is about discovery. It's about truth. And if you don't have the balls to work for truth, then get the hell out of science. You don't deserve to be there. Science does not deserve to be conservative and ridiculous. Science will move forward, and that's why we're going to get this discovery done in spite of all these spineless little wimp geneticists. They're chumps. So it's been very, very frustrating. And I had to learn about genetics all on my own. I had to start studying that. I'm a tracker. I had to be a tracker. I had to be I had to make films. I had to be a film director. I had to do editing and post-production. And I had to do all this stuff. With the film guys, you have no idea. The freaking codecs that you do and the sound codecs and oh my God, the stuff. I did all that. I'm not going to be a geneticist now. Kiss my ass. I don't want to do it. And yet I had to. Otherwise, nobody would even... you talk Sasquatch and they just hang up the damn phone on you. They're such cowards. It's pathetic. And you got to be brave. Be brave or if you're not going to be brave, your life is going to suck. If you're just going to do what everybody else does, you're not going to take some risks, and you're not going to... If you like righteousness, if you think things are great and righteous, then you need to freaking stand up for those things. And that's just not Sasquatch, that's everything. You show your true character when you stand up for what's right and what's good. And so many people don't do that. Have some balls once in a while. When you see somebody being treated wrong and somebody being victimized, stand up for them. And I'm not talking about me at all. I'm talking about all the crap that goes on out there. Good people get damaged and screwed up. All that is necessary for evil to conquer is for good people to stand around and do nothing. That was said by this little guy, I don't know, what's his name? Einstein? And he was saying that about how Nazi Germany rose to power. Good people stood by and went, it'll just go away, and it won't. Stand up for what's right. So that's why I'm here, because Sasquatch exist and they're real. So I appreciate all of you that stand up for me, and I'm very grateful for that. But this needs to happen. This needs to happen with our environment. The damage we're doing to our environment is not a freaking hoax. We're killing this environment. I see it every year. It's disgusting. We have to do something. This planet is our life source, and we're damaging it. And I'm standing up for the wolves now. People are saying horrible things about the wolves. They're these monster men. They're a keystone species. They're saving the elk and deer. They're incredible, majestic, beautiful species. And now people are hating on the wolves. And I have to go stand up for that. So, holy crap. But I refuse. If you're all about, how horrible and evil the wolves are and all this kind of crap, like, what the hell, man? Look what they saved. You have Yellowstone National Park. Still, it exists. The elk and the deer and everything that's beautiful, all the other plants and animals that are come back are all there because they brought wolves back to Yellowstone National Park. They saved the park. They saved the ecosystem. That means they're keystone. If they're not there, the whole thing collapses. The elk die, the deer die. All dozens, hundreds of species all get wiped out, and it all falls apart. It turns into a horrible, terrible, disgusting place without the wolves. So, and this is science. These are facts. This is biology. You have these twits coming on saying these stupid things, and it really ticks me off because they're such a majestic, wonderful species. I know they kill cows, but we don't hate on that. There's other ways we can find to deal with this stuff. Don't be, oh my God, the stuff that's going on breaks my heart. How am I supposed to prove that Sasquatch exists if we're hating on the wolves and lying about the wolves and saying that there's nothing wrong with the environment? No, there's nothing. Australia's burning all to hell. We've had forest fires, like world record forest fires. Every year they get worse and worse. That's no big deal. It's just destroying the planet. Don't worry about it. It's a big deal. We need to fix this. There's a problem here. And I see it every day. I show my expeditioners stuff. On every expedition, you see this? See how that? It never used to be like that. Now look at this. Look how the bears are suffering. Look at how the deer have to do this. Because our environment is changing so fast, they're barely keeping up. And they can't evolve that quickly. Nature is not supposed to move that fast. So it's mind-blowing how the damage and the crazy stuff that's going on. So please stand up for what you know to be true. Take a stand. You sit in the middle of the road, you're going to get squashed, and everything's going to fall apart if we don't fix it. Stuff is not going to fix itself. Praying is not going to fix it. God helps those who help themselves. Isn't that what religious people say? So help the environment. Do something about it. Educate yourself. Don't just, figure it out. We're intelligent human beings. That's the reason we're the dominant species on this planet. We are the dominant species, civilized species, without a doubt. That's because we're smart and we think. You have to use your brain. So, yeah. Sorry I went off there. We need everything except ticks. Yeah, I don't like ticks, do I? Ugh, they're pretty gross. Good point, Kevin. That shut me up. But yeah, I don't like ticks either, and they have little gross things. But whatever. Do we need mosquitoes? I don't know, probably. So don't get me into that stuff, though. We're here to talk about Sasquatch. So do I have anything going on? I'm just working on the documentary right now. I'm talking to people all the time. It's wonderful talking to all these people that have all this stuff. My documentary just came off of Netflix. The 2-year contract is up, and my distributor is screaming for another movie. And they're really helping me to do another movie. So I'm working on other stuff and just talking to people. I'm organizing my expeditions. That's a hell of a lot of work. Looks like I have maybe, my goal is almost 30 people to take out this year. And considering I only take 2 to 3 people at a time, it's a lot of expeditions. It's a lot of commitment. So it's a lot of work. My expeditions, the people that email me, the through rate is 90% fail. So for whatever reason, it just doesn't work out. So it's a lot for me to get 30 expeditioners on board. I have to meet with about 100 people. It's a lot of work, meetings and discussions and talking. That's 100 hours of my time. Not even exaggerating. I have 1-hour conversations with people. So, but it's worth it. It's so worth it. So I love the expeditions and I love meeting these new people. And yeah, it's just amazing. So. A big name, MS, Sonoma, Miami Island, Wonder Woman. You are the type that talk about things that some people stray away from, and that's really out there. Well, thanks. Science where it's at. Yeah, you're just talking about what I was just ranting about. We got to be passionate, guys. We got to care. You got to really care. You got to, love your family. Try to, take care of your children. Being a great parent makes the world a better place. And people keep asking me this question, when's the new documentary? Oh my God, guys, as soon as I can get it done. It's so much work. You feel like just a couple more months, I'm almost there, and then you get hiccups and computer problems, and it's such a pain in the ass. It's so much work. At the end of a movie, there's all those freaking names. At the end of my movie, it's basically just Todd Standing. I edited it, I directed it, I shoot it, I wrote it, I produced it. Well, and I get help from people, but it's just so much work for me. I'm not gonna lie, it's just so goddamn much work. So I am getting help from people, and it really matters, and I'm super grateful for the help that I get, however I can get it. But it's just a matter of me, and I don't trust editors to go through my footage and start screwing it up and making it more dramatic and make it seem more of what it wasn't. The way it is the way I play it. I don't add it. I'll turn up the audio when the audio is low, but I won't add a sound to it. And I won't cut something out in a way that'll make it seem more dramatic. And I learned that from Survivor Man and a couple other great filmmakers, but mostly Survivor Man taught me that. That's the way it is, and you got to be true and honest. So, and I am. That's why Jeff Meldrum and John Bernagle were willing to work with me again, because I was honest about my footage and stuff. So let's do some more Sasquatch. No, God helps those that depend on him. That quote's from Benjamin Franklin, not for the Bible. Okay, thank you. But we all need to care for our world. Agreed. When do your expeditions start and end? Mid-June to mid-October, depending on the weather or what's going on with my expeditions. The name of my documentaries, I have two actually, if I can get them done: Discovering Bigfoot Part 2, and I probably shouldn't be saying this, but California Bigfoot. So, uh, yeah. So, do you think remote viewing could be a tool to locate and possibly communicate with a troop of Sasquatch? You son of a brilliant lady. Yes, I'm all over it, guys. So, all over. I've been working with, I'm going to admit it, working with psychics, working. Remote viewing is an absolute reality. It is absolutely real. There's a movie called Third Eye Blind, and I am neck deep in it with remote viewing. And I just talked about it today. I was I was I was meeting with a woman that told me all about all these cool things about my Sasquatch troop and all sorts of different crazy stuff. And then she just stopped talking to me. But yeah, remote viewing is huge. It's an enormous. I'm really trying to get that going on. I literally, I know I have some inside information about the Third Eye Blind movie. It's a Princeton PhD. You got to watch it. I literally have an ESP trainer, an extrasensory perception trainer on my phone. So because it's really a talent that you can learn and get better at. It's very clear to me. Telepathy is an absolute reality because remote viewing is reality. So telepathy is real. These things are facts. And there's nobody. I just talked to a guy today. He's like, well, I don't really believe in telepathy. And then I had a little conversation and I proved he was telepathic. Everybody, every single person I sit down with and I go, like, is this happening? Have you ever done this? They go, yeah, of course. I go, you're telepathic, you dumbass. Well, I guess you're right. Well, there you go. And it might be a small thing, but if it starts small, it can get big. You know, when you practice it, when you start working out and eating properly, you get huge. Your muscles grow. If you don't work out, you don't get big muscles. You don't get strong. You don't train. Train your brain. You become an ESP expert. So remote viewing is huge. It's absolutely enormous. So I have a new colleague that I just started working with last week that popped up and said, hey, I just had this image of this Sasquatch and he said these things about you. And I'm like, go on, I'm listening. And I am skeptical. I am, because it's a big freaking deal if you're communicating with a Sasquatch. So I'm listening. I've heard some stuff that's pretty impressive, but I'm not convinced yet. So the last woman that I was talking to, she had me pretty much convinced about stuff. But anyways, she was these are not normal people. These are abnormal people. And she got abnormally crazy on me, I guess. And now she doesn't talk to me anymore, which sucks. But I was very excited. But yeah, so remote viewing is huge. I really recommend that documentary. I think it was on Netflix or something. It's called Third Eye Spy. And these are facts. These are realities. Remote viewing exists. It's a real deal. The CIA did it in cooperation with Princeton. That's the end of it. And they were winning. They were doing it. They were making results. The results they have are undeniable. It's absolutely real. And then even the animal communication is absolutely real. I want somebody that can do that. So I'm working on that too. So there's a lot going on with telepathy, remote viewing, animal communication. These things are a big part of my life. And I'm trying to, for me, I was very into my feel and my inspiration. I felt like I was manifesting my reality. And then it all just fell apart. My whole life just collapsed and smashed. And now I don't have a lot of faith in my, I just don't have faith in my ability to be responsible for what I attract. I feel like just different and it's hard. So I'm on a journey, guys, and I don't have all the answers. And you know, I'm a pretty intelligent guy, and I work hard and I think a lot. But it's you know, I don't have the answers. But I am, as Clay says, Todd, I'm the one who's real boots on the ground, like few others are. Yeah, and that's awesome. Boots on the ground's a lot. And boots on the ground doesn't mean that you're not a scientist. Boots on the ground doesn't mean that you're not studying things. I love what Jeff Meldrum does. I love when I'm exhausted and burnt out and my body can't handle anymore, I go into the lab and I theorize with people, and I love that stuff. I'm here with you guys theorizing. Look at the question I got today. What would you do if you had a baby Sasquatch, right? So we'll theorize. These are important things to theorize. No disrespect for that, but really, in the end, it is boots on the ground that gets us done. It really is. So it's so important. And David Moore says the average age mentally of Americans is 13 years old. Well, I just want to disagree with that. Respect out of you for saying for your opinion, but gosh, yeah, I don't feel. Oh, Ashley is asking. I like Ashley from Washington State. She asked, "What's the app I use?" And it's actually just called the ESP Trainer. When you learn about the movie Third Eye Spy, the main guy, if you just look him up, he's got some YouTube videos. I can't remember his name right now, but the movie's Third Eye Blind or Third Eye Spy. The main guy has a ESP Trainer. It's free. I don't know why I can't stand. I cannot stand getting apps and free apps and the crap on your phone. So I wanted to pay for it and I couldn't. It was just a free app, which sucks. But anyways, I got the free app and it's on my phone. And I found, when I was working on it, I haven't been recently because I've been so freaking busy, but there were things that were happening. I was impressed. I was really learning. So I recommend it. So yeah. Yeah, I don't know the name of it. I don't have my phone here with me right now. I have all these little technical issues. I apologize for being tardy today, but just anyways, weird things happen, and I just kind of go, okay, that's pretty weird. So, I personally like Steve and his "don't take scat" attitude. Steve from How to Hunt. Lee, does anybody watch How to Hunt? How to Hunt's doing really well. He's doing really well on YouTube, and it's good. I have good things to say. The guy knows his stuff. The guy is a hunter. He's a hunting guide. You got to know your stuff. You're not taking people out in the wilderness as a hunting guide, not knowing your stuff, and successfully doing it year after year. So, yeah, good. That's awesome. I'm very happy for him, and I'm glad he's. So many guides and wilderness experts say Sasquatch aren't real. That's a little frustrating. It really is. There's a guide that goes into my area in Radium, and he's so convinced that Sasquatch aren't real, and I've tried to show him, and he just won't do it, and it's really very close-minded, and it's very upsetting to me that, people just are like, nah, Sasquatch aren't real. I go, what about this tree break? What about these tracks over here? And I look into their eyes, you talk to these people, and you could see it in their eyes. They've had an experience. Like, I asked him, I remember saying, okay, so there's a tree. What happened was, so this hunting guide is out and he's doing some recon. So I'm sitting in the bush with my ghillie suit on and I see him. So I come out and I say hey to him. And he's always like, oh, what the hell are you doing? It's just me. It's Todd Standing. Oh, you're that crazy Sasquatch guy. And you're that crazy guy who thinks Bigfoot's not real. So we have a little joke about it. And then I go, so there's some Sasquatch tracks over here. Do you want to come have a look at them? No, I'm not into that crap. I don't want to see your hoaxes stuff. Really? Hoax? I thought you were a tracker. No tracker is going to get hoaxed by tracks. These are so organic and ridiculous. Tree breaks, structure. And then, so he won't come and look at it. And then I look into his eyes and I go, you're telling me all this time you're out here, because the Sasquatch are really reacting to this guy. They're making tree breaks to him. I see it. I see him come along and they react to him. They follow him. They know about him. And with all that they do to try to interact with him, he doesn't get it. And I look into his eyes and I go, you're telling me honestly, you've never had strange experiences out here that you can't explain? And you know what he said to me? I don't want to talk about it. Gotcha. I gotcha. You know it. He actually had, and then a year after that, a Sasquatch busted his outhouse down. He's got a little hunting cabin out in the middle of nowhere, and he has an outhouse there. The Sasquatch busted down his outhouse, and I know they did it because they put tree breaks all around it. And too bad for him. Oh, I guess a ghost did it. Some kids came around and busted your outhouse down. And I don't know. It's perplexing to me how people can live in that kind of ignorance. And with what he does and who he is, it's really unacceptably ignorant. Totally, totally ignorant. And I see it so much. Survivor Man stayed in a particular hotel when he was on an expedition with me. And there's Sasquatch all around this. It's not even a hotel. It's wilderness cabins. And there's Sasquatch out there, and they look at you and go, really? Like, I don't even want to have people around here that think Sasquatch are. And they're just real douchebags about it. And it's frustrating to have people look at you and, the world's flat, it's not round, you're just being silly. And I want to present evidence, but I just look into their eyes and I go, you know what? I feel sorry for you, because that kind of ignorance just must be damaging. I'm very convinced the dogman are not real, but they could be. and somebody comes around me and has dogman evidence, I look at it. I'm very happy to look into it and hear about it, just for my own little morbid curiosity. If I found out the dogmen were real, I would just be like, well, I'm not going to do that. It's, I'm doing Sasquatch, guys. And thanks for teaching me and educating me, and I'll look into it a little bit, but I wouldn't look into it any more than I would study, a squirrel or a deer, or even less so, because I just, but I'm not going to sit there and tell people the dogmen aren't real, because I don't really know 100%. And even though I find it very unlikely that they're real, you're never going to hear me say they are not real, and you're a fool to believe that. And I'm not going to disrespect you because you happen to, and I don't like the word believe. If you're a believer, that's one thing. But if you're a knower and I see you devoting your life to it and it really matters to you, it's something you're passionate about, I will never look at a human being like that and say, wow, you're just an idiot to think that the dogmen are real. Because then I would be one of those jerks that I want to use a more strong word about, but I won't. And I just won't do that. So, I'm getting people, really nice, credible people, telling me that there's Sasquatch in the United Kingdom right now. There's, they have evidence and videos and multiple people that have sightings. And I have a friend, Amanda, who's on here, and other friends that live in the UK that are going, there's no goddamn way there's a Sasquatch in the United Kingdom. And I happen to lean quite heavily towards Amanda's perspective. It's the history that gets me, guys. If there was history, if the Highlanders talked about it, if there was something in the culture, if there were statues about it, then I would be very inclined to be interested at least. But that's not there. I went to Sweden and they're telling me, oh, there's bears and a healthy population of wolves and moose in Sweden. Could there be Sasquatch? I think maybe possibly. And then I go there and I do some looking around. I talk to people, and the Vikings, the old Vikings that lived there, never said nothing about Sasquatch. And I was pretty much done with it. And I'll tell you, I got so much respect from the Swedish people because I respected their indigenous culture. Try it sometimes. Really try it. I'm an indigenous man. When you come out here, respect me. It's a wonderful, beautiful place. I'll show it to you, and have some respect for who I am and what I bring to this place. I'm, fourth generation living in Canada. I'm a Northman from Canada. I'm very proud of that. But you go there and it pretty much, it ends the conversation when, the Vikings knew nothing. Leif Erikson came to North America and most likely saw Sasquatch, and it scared him. And if you know about Vikings, they don't get scared. No, they're not scared people. They fight. They're happy to die and go to Valhalla. So, but then again, am I saying there's absolutely no chance there's Sasquatch there? Well, there was a man who said he saw one there. So I respect it, and I think the probability's low, but what do I know? So I give my opinions, and don't be 100%, and try not to disrespect people who are passionate about stuff. Even if they're wrong and even if they're crazy, I don't know. They're happy. Leave them alone. I wish people would take that advice with me. Oh, that Todd, he's crazy. Thinks Bigfoot's real. Just leave him alone. I got that. Just so you people know, I had a bad situation just happen this week where I was trying to get something. I was working towards something, and I almost got it. And then the person said, oh, I'm not going to do this stuff with you because you think Sasquatch are real, and I don't want to have anything to do with you because you're crazy. And for a moment, it kind of hurt my feelings. I was like, oh, you think I'm just some crazy lunatic. You found out who I was, and you decided to not do this wonderful thing with me because I'm crazy. And we were actually kind of friendly and some good stuff was going on, and now I'm the Sasquatch guy, and it was hurtful. It was disrespectful. It was very hurtful. She made me feel bad for about 2 minutes. Then I realized I have hundreds of people right now online chatting with me. I have tens of thousands of fans all over the world. That I met Survivor Man, I met Lestra, John Bernardo, tons of PhDs, tons of amazing people. Amanda, Phil, Danielle, Mateo, all these cool people I have in my life. It's just list goes on and on because I do Sasquatch research. So the positivity that I get far, far, far exceeds the 2 minutes of pain that I will feel from time to time when someone hits me out of nowhere and says, you're crazy. And no, it's hurtful when it happens. I know how you guys feel. It's not good when somebody, even I have a pretty thick skin and I laugh it off, but I had 2 minutes of pain where I was like, oh, I was really looking forward to that. And now it's all gone because, you think, actually that hasn't happened to me in a long time. So last time it happened, actually talking about the wolves, was I was going to go up north and do a documentary. They wanted to do a documentary, somebody that was crazy, boots on the ground, that was going to go talk about the wolves and the caribou. And I was like, man, I was their guy. I was going to kick some ass. I was going to go out there and fight for it and get shots they'd never seen, film these beautiful wolves and the caribou like crazy. And then they found out about Sasquatch. And they said, no way, man. I was the best man for the job. The guy who got the job sucked and did a crappy job because he wasn't brave. He wasn't boots on the ground. He wasn't tough. He didn't bleed for the shots the way I do and fight for it. And, wasn't willing. Sometimes you got to be really willing to just put it all out there. And for any of you who are passionate about what you do and what you love, there's a point where you just, where I see a Sasquatch up on a hill and he's there and I'm terrified and I'm scared and I don't want to, but I gotta go up there. It's all for that. This is the moment. It rarely happens where I get my success with Sasquatch. If you're not going to make that walk up the hill, you're not going to do that. If you make a beautiful, amazing song and you're not going to try to sell it to 1,000 people and take no 1,000 times, then don't do it. It's hard, and I know it's difficult, but you gotta fight for what you believe in, and be really willing to, I don't know, put it out on the line, right? And I hope nothing to do with Sasquatch. I hope to inspire people to just be great. And isn't it cool that I read about a biologist who's fighting for gorilla benefits, and I see the Diane Fossey or Jane Goodall. Man, I just can't. What a wonderful lady. What a hero. It makes me proud to be a human being because there's people like Jane Goodall out there. What a hero. What an amazing, incredible person. I'm so proud, and you don't have to be nasty when you stand up for people, but you can surely make it said, that I am a supporter of the wolves. I think the wolves are beautiful. I know the wolves are a keystone species, and you need to start looking at this a little further because we need the wolves. They're majestic and beautiful. And gosh darn it, they were here long before we ever got here, and they have a right to be here. They are the stewards of elk and deer. They keep populations in check. They maintain the coyotes, and they make all these wonderful things happen. They belong here. They fit in so well. You know who doesn't belong here so well? We don't. If all our houses were gone and all our civilization disappeared, all these species would take over and thrive again. It's us that are the interlopers. You must understand that. We are the ones doing the damage. Wolves can eat elk and deer and poop all over the place, and they just make the world a better place. We're not like that. There's, hundreds of millions of us. And we got to be mad about the tens of thousands of wolves. Are there that many? Such a infinitesimal number of wolves, and we're bitching and complaining and we want them all killed? Holy crap. No, I will stand up for that. I will picket for that. So, a few more questions. Watching, I really enjoyed the video where the three after you and had to set off the flare. You're a brave man. Thanks. Yeah, that's a hard night. I don't even like, when I hear that, I want to leave the room. I'm like, oh man, that was a bad night. So, and yeah, just sometimes you got to do what you got to do, right? I don't really feel that was very brave. I didn't have a choice. I had nowhere to go. There's nothing you could do. I lit the flare and they wouldn't let me leave that area. I was trying to get out and they were pushing me back into the wilderness, which they had never done before. And so yeah, you just do what you got to do, right? And I was never going to let that be shown. It was Survivor Man that made that. When he saw that, his eyes went big. He goes, I want that on my show. I'm like, no, it's not good, dude. It sucks. Nobody wants to see that. And he goes, I want to see it. So Survivor Man put that out there. And I'm glad he made me do that because I just want to be transparent, right? I see J. Beth Steely. Jane's my girl. Yeah, she's cool, huh? Yeah, I like that Jane footage. She's really cool. So Jane is a Sasquatch in video 4 that I filmed. And Jane's still up there. Jane's still around. I have more stuff that's going to happen with Jane. Jane's pretty special. So I think it was very, I don't know what the word, cosmic, destiny, because there was a lot of, when I filmed video 4, the males were down looking for me. I left tracks into a cave and I left an audio recorder playing me talking. So they thought I was in this cave when I was really moving up the hill because I wanted to get to the main troop area where I thought there were young and females. What I didn't know is when the males come down, the females seem to circle and make another perimeter. And they're in emergency mode. They're in emergency lockdown. So it was the section of the mountain that I came up to that Jane was there. And yeah, yeah, Jane was around this year. I don't have new footage of her, but yeah, Jane's pretty awesome. So she doesn't have. I'll tell you, I've seen her. She doesn't have a beard. Her face is all smooth. She's got more wrinkles now though, a lot. She's got wrinkles around the eyes and around here. So the footage that I have of Jane, I think she was very young. I think she was just young. I can't even guesstimate because I didn't get to see her tracks. I didn't get to that particular day. I may have seen her tracks since. In fact, I'm quite convinced she's got a 15-inch foot and it's slim compared to the males. And she looks to be about, gosh, I think 400 pounds. So she's not huge. And now, so I filmed Jane in 2000 and let's just do some numbers here. So I filmed Jane in approximately 2009. So in October-ish. So it's 2020. There's no way Jane, if she was 10 years old, I'd be shocked. But let's be conservative and say she was only 10. So she's 20 now. I saw her tracks this year. At 20 years old, she's fully grown. So she's putting out approximately just under 15-inch track. Her foot's a little slender. And there's no way that girl is more than 500 pounds. So the males, and I don't know how tall she is. I can't deduce that yet at all. I do not have the information. I'm really sorry. I don't have enough information. And I'm not even going to make a guess. My educated guess would be I think she's as tall as the Patterson female. That would be my educated guess. So find the experts that know how tall the Patterson footage is, and I think she's that tall. However, she's not big. And you know what that means? Sexual dimorphism. It means when males are much bigger than females, there's sexual dimorphism. You get a male-dominated society. And then you get troops that are male dominated, you get a dominant male, and that's what is clearly happening. And I have never seen an exception in nature where there was sexual dimorphism and there was not a male dominated society. Lions and gorillas are top on that list. I know there's other ones, but like birds are monogamous, they're the same size. They're monogamous forever. Just many examples of that, right? So there's just all these things add up in the biology, but yeah, Jane looks a little different. Jane is special, so she's pretty. Yeah, she's turning into the Michelle Pfeiffer of of Sasquatch up in radium, and she's not going anywhere. But the females are protected by the males. The females, I mean, Jane's gonna have a baby, right? Jane's gonna be maternal, and females will just. That feminine attitude is more conservative and stuff. So am I ever going to have a great relationship with her? Probably not. But I know she's around. And yeah, so that's what I have to say about that. Thanks for bringing that up because this year especially, Jane remembers. Jane remembers me and Jane's been around. Jane watches from the distance. And yeah, so Graham says, pisses me off when people have an issue with paying for services of an experienced teacher, right? So I don't know. I try not to get pissed off. I don't think that's a swear word. I can say that, Amanda. Don't get mad at me. But yeah, I try not to get too pissed off. But yeah, you gotta support your teachers and stuff, right? So okay, one more question here. I've been on for almost an hour and a half. Create a Bitcoin and call it the Bigfoot coin, and fund yourself through cryptocurrency. Fund yourself through cryptocurrency. Excellent idea. We may have to try to implement that. Check out the TV show Expedition Bigfoot. They have really good evidence of Sasquatch. Wonderful. Thanks for the advice. Turns out Dan says, turns out half of the babies born to monogamous birds are bastards. Huh. Very interesting. So Parkway SRG says, love your channel. And then he says, Vancouver. It looks like I don't have any. Well, maybe one more, Todd. I see your former colleagues almost all leave you on bad terms. Ashley unfollowed you, deleted you as a friend. So did Sonia Zohar. Can you explain this? I know it's controversial. Sonia. I don't want to say anything bad. I don't know. I was very disappointed that Sonia didn't work out with me. But, I'd say maybe, oh gosh, it's maybe 20% of people leave. I try not to make it on bad terms. I don't even know. Sonia was, it was just preposterous. She was a really good friend. She was friendly with my son. And then what happened was I had a TV show deal that, they mentioned that maybe I should get a younger woman that was more educated, and that really upset her. And I told her, I said, I'm not going to desert you. And she goes, I know you're going to leave me behind. I know you're going to get somebody else. So the show didn't come through, and she didn't believe me. She said, I know you got a show. There's no way Discovery Channel's out here and doing all this stuff with you. You got a show, and you're just dumping me. So she got upset because she was very convinced that I had a show and I was dumping her because Discovery Channel kind of wanted to get rid of her, and I refused. Anyway, at this point, that happened in approximately, let's say, 2012-ish. Did I get a show on Discovery Channel? Nope. So Sonia got mad and left at me. Why? I don't know. And I just admire her. After she got mad at me and left me, I told her to go work with Survivor Man. Survivor Man said, what do you think of her? And I said, she's tough and awesome. And I wanted to say good things. And she got on an episode of Survivor Man with Randy Brisson. That was because of me. And, it is what it is. I don't really want to talk about Ashley. Ashley unfollowed me and deleted me. Yeah. Wonderful. So I really can't talk about that stuff. There may be litigation involved in that because it's really going to be bad with that stuff. And I hate going down that road. But, I have, you're right there. When I say 90% of people come back on expeditions with me, that's because 10% of people don't. Probably 5% of people are a little pissy about the expeditions with me. And you can't please all the people all the time. It's not going to happen. So I've worked with Amanda for a long time. I've worked with Phil for quite some time now. Danielle, there's lots of people. So, Survivor Man, Jeff Meldrum, and John Bennett. John Bennett always was my friend. And those guys are really important. So, but it's just life. There'll be things, most relationships aren't going to really work out. And, so are you going to dislike me because I'm getting divorced? I am. I'm divorced. So my relationship with my wife did not work out. Sucks, but it doesn't take away from the authenticity of my Sasquatch research. Nobody, and I mean nobody, that's worked with me in the field and come out with me on expedition has ever said I'm a fake or a fraud. Nobody. Sonia knows damn well that she saw a real Sasquatch. She interacted with a real Sasquatch. This is the most important thing. Perhaps, maybe personally, for some reason, they decided to be unhappy with me, but they never accused me of being a fraud and being a fake. And that's because even Ashley, she has seen a Sasquatch. You want to see us agree on something? A Sasquatch walked right up to the window where Ashley was sleeping and she saw one. So I could substantiate that. And, so, right? None of these people, and if they start doing that stuff, I would be very disappointed. I would be very angry, but that's never happened. So, yeah, thanks a lot. That's a good question. That was uncomfortable. I was uncomfortable with that question, but thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Yeah, Todd Standing is a Jedi. Thank you, Richie. Whew, I sure don't feel like one. But can they make coyote sounds, please? Oh, Jason, yes. Whew. Yes. They can do crow sounds. They can do coyote sounds. You just got me, and that's the last question of the day. But yeah, they can make coyote. I mean, Survivor Man does a beautiful wolf howl. It's very authentic. I think his wolf howl would almost fool me. I think if I heard Survivor Man's wolf howl, I'd be like, what? I think that might not be a wolf, is what I would say. But he's good. The Sasquatch have better vocal ranges than human beings. Human beings can make coyote sounds. Human beings can, but there's something, if you really listen to it, like, what you got to do when you know about coyote sounds and you've heard coyotes before, and then a Sasquatch makes that sound, listen with your heart, listen with your subconscious. I don't know how to explain it. Something will tingle in you and you go, that doesn't sound right to me. Something is wrong with that. And go with that gut feeling for a while. Really try to work that out. Because, and then go substantiate it. If you heard a coyote sound and you go over, there's no coyote tracks, but there's Sasquatch tracks on the ground, and Sasquatch tree breaks, and Sasquatch marks, then maybe it wasn't a coyote, right? So you always need to substantiate evidence. If somebody hears a Sasquatch, and on my expeditions, we need to go find the tracks. We need to go substantiate that you did see a Sasquatch. And it's imperatively important. If you're not going to go substantiate a potential sighting, a potential sound that you heard, then your research isn't worth Nothing. It's nothing. It's written in water. You must be brave enough to go substantiate it. Most of these crazy sightings and stuff that I hear, people don't go and have a look after. Don't take a before and after picture or just an after picture. You must. I think it's irresponsible for you to put something on the internet when you haven't even tried to do an investigation. You haven't looked for tracks. You haven't got a second photograph. It's just terribly irresponsible and very, very unacceptable. So it decreases the authenticity of what you're doing by not trying to investigate it further, and rightly so. There is no case that I don't do it, don't do it. So it must be done. You must find substantiating evidence. So no matter how great your video or photograph or encounter was, it's really important that you have that substantiation of tracks or breaks or whatever you can get. Okay, so that's an hour and a half, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. What an awesome show. You guys made me very uncomfortable today. Thank you. It's not about comfort. It's about getting this done and moving forward. So awesome show today. I'll be back next Wednesday, guys. And I'm going to start doing... I have a surprise tomorrow. I have a little surprise on my... it's going to be on my YouTube channel tomorrow. Surprise! There's going to be a new thing happening. And... sorry my Saturday video was late, but I thank you so much for tuning in, guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you the skeptics that challenged me. Thank you for the hard questions. I really want you guys to know that, you know what? I've been charged by grizzly bears. I've been attacked by mountain lions. I've been through the ringer. I've risked my life for this stuff. You can ask me hard questions and I'm going to answer it. If I can go through that stuff, if I can go out there and fight and do what I did and work as I will continue to work for this discovery, the very least I can do is answer your hard questions. So I will not say things inappropriate. I will not bash and damage and hate on anybody. I try to look at the bright side. Tara, yes. Oh, there's another question. Tara Scott, does Bigfoot use MindSpeak? There's a video on it on my YouTube channel about MindSpeak. Teresa Scott. I don't even remember what it's called. Maybe somebody can put it in here. Amanda probably knows it. I have a video about MindSpeak. So on one of my videos on my YouTube channel. So maybe send Amanda an email and we'll give you that. But yes, Bigfoot. The answer is yes, they do MindSpeak. But no more questions, guys. We got to go. Hour and a half's a lot. Thanks for having me. Thanks for tuning in. And I will see you guys next Wednesday.